ready. This is going to be exciting.
And the Geico restarts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to round number 8 of the SAVE22 Truck Series. Tonight, we've got a great race at the Old Lady in Black, one of the best tracks on the NASCAR circuit. The track too tough to tame. All kinds of names. You know when a track has some names, you know it is a beast of a track. Well, tonight, it's going to be an awesome show. Mark Whitley has been really kicking butt here in this series. He's got a lot of wins, 4 wins to be exact. Can he make it 5 tonight? Pretty good chance, but I think there's about 16 other drivers that are going to have something to say about it tonight. I'm Eddie Smith, your announcer for tonight and producer, alongside my co-announcer, Jacob Linke and Dougie Beard on the cameras. Jake, how are we feeling tonight? It's Darlington night.
Am 100% ready for tonight, Eddie. Darlington's been a favorite track of mine for a long time. Never fails to put on a show in real life or in Goat Locker, so we're going to have one tonight.
Well, last week we're at Watkins Glen. A little left turn, a little bit of right turning, a little bit of X, Y, and Z, all kinds of different stuff over there at Watkins Glen. Such a beautiful racetrack. And then we bring it down up in upstate New York, bring it down to the south, the old dirty south. Out in the middle of nowhere this track is. And but it's one of the best on the circuit. Jake, tell us a little bit about this track.
The track Too Tough to Tame is our destination tonight. A longtime favorite for stock car fans young and old, it's Darlington Raceway. 1.36 mile asymmetrical oval off Harry Bird Highway has been a staple in both real life and Goat Locker competition and promises to be a good show at any point in the season. Who will be the one to survive a dance with the Lady in Black?
Ooh. Well, that was fancy what you just did there. I like it. I like it. Well, Darlington, I mean, it's, you know, one of the head guys over at NASCAR was on Dale Jr. Download last week, and he's like, people want to get rid of Darlington because it's not a great market. And he's like, we can't do that. So even the top brass in NASCAR, no, you can't get rid of this track. It is an iconic racetrack. It's been flip-flopped. Turn 1 and 2 is now 3 and 4 from back in the day. But it's just such a unique track with that. The whole bottom half of the track is just nothing. You don't use anything. It's just a place for cars to roll when they wreck. But everything's put up against the wall. You got to really drive it down to the corner, up to the wall, down on exit. 1 lane for the most part, and we're going to try to fit 2 trucks 2 wide sometimes here tonight. Going to be a good one. This series has been lights out. This is the premier truck series, SAVE22. And, the point standings show that, hey, Premier is exactly what this series is, as Mark Whitley leads the way with 4 wins over the likes of Jeremy Gardner, Jacob Ellingson, Levi McCarty, Michael Kostick, Jamie Mullins, Eldon Stewart, Greg Bontrager, Tyler Justice, and Jamie Barkas, all in the top 10. Fantastic drivers. A lot of those race winners, multi-time race winners. And the point standings are wide open. You see Charles Aber over there in 12th. He won at one of the, I think it was the plate track earlier this season. So he's locked into the playoffs. That means all the way around that 12 mark, you got Regis Clark, George Jewell. Regis Clark not here tonight as far as I can tell, unless he shows up at the last minute. So got a lot going on with the points. Going to be a lot. You can see right there from Craig Bontrager, 177, all the way down to Jim Kaufman in 14th. There's only 7 points separating them. That's pretty cool there, Jacob.
Absolutely. And you can't count any of these guys out. This is a rhythm track here, which means you got to get in. You got to get in fast. Make sure that you got the right line that you're running. Anybody can take home a win and throw the points. You can throw this whole point sheet out the window by the end of the night.
Yeah, you just want to win here. That's my always feeling about it. You're racing the track. You're barely racing each other. Usually you're trying to let everybody go. It's kind of like racing on the highway. You're like, oh, okay, you go ahead. You're just trying to keep it together. You don't want to make contact with the wall, but it's just a fun track to race. And, yeah, I mean, you want to win. You say you won Darlington. That's usually a pretty solid night that you put together. You know, all these guys right here have opportunity to try to get in the win column. Mark Whitley, of course, is going to try to get 5 on the season. It's really been an incredible season so far. And no surprise, Mark Whitley has come in here and made no bones about it that he has come in here to win, and win he will do. And, you know, in the ARCA series on Monday nights, he has been able to win a ton of races there. He's winning a bunch here. And it's just a matter of time before Sunday night he wins a bunch. So he's here to win, and he is doing exactly that. And, you know, what I love about it, Jake, is that you can complain about it and go, well, you know, he's winning all the races. That stinks up the show. But for the drivers that are in the series, a premier series, that just means you got to step up, right?
Yeah. Put your money where your mouth is. You don't like it so much, go and beat them then. Everybody here has, there are a lot of people in this series. This wouldn't be a premier series if you didn't have talent. And now you got the one guy coming in here who's, since his debut in the spring, he's won as many races as we probably had over the whole summer series. You got to go up there and you got to challenge for it. And we've had a couple of drivers put it to him so far this season.
Yeah, I'll be looking for Gardner to try to get it done tonight. I mean, but, you know, Levi McCarty just really excels at these weirdo tracks. You know, the 1.5 milers, he's really good. He loves the high line. And you don't have a choice here with the high line. You got to go. You got to run it. So we'll see. You know, 1 and 2 is pretty much baked in. You're going to go right up to the top here. You're seeing it on the screen right now. And you're going to go right up to the top of that, right where the wall is. And you're going to drive down on exit, carry all that momentum out of 1 and 2. And then 3 and 4, you can actually pick a lane. You can go to the bottom in the trucks, or you can go to the high side. So we'll see what these guys decide to do. It's going to be a lot of fun. But we got to thank our favorite sponsor, at least mine, is SAVE22. And SAVE22 is an organization dedicated to preventing suicide among veterans, active duty personnel, and first responders. Their unwavering mission extends to 4 critical pillars: shield, assist, volunteer, and educate. You know what that spells: save. We want to thank them for being the title sponsor of this Premier Truck Series. And Jake, I think we got the grid ready to roll. So let's jump right into it. And let's see who's going to be on the Jam Printing Promotions Pole Award. Well, I don't know. Is it a surprise, Jake? Both Mark Whitley and Jeremy Gardner, 1-2 in the points. Going to start 1-2 here tonight. Road number 1. And Mark Whitley will be your Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award. The new web store coming out November 1st. So you better be ready. Jam Printing Promotions will be leading the way when it comes to that. And all the gear that you see these guys wearing, hats, shirts, hoodies, all of the like, all come from Jam Printing and Promotion. So we love those folks over there and appreciate what they do. But that's road number 1. Road number 2 is going to be Levi McCarty and Craig Bontrager. I'm still waiting for Craig Bontrager to get that win. Been waiting on. He's got a lot of fans out there in chat. They show up every week, hardcore fans, and I'm ready to see him get a win. In 5th, Patrick Dravick already got a win on the season, missed a few races, down in the points. Needs to have a good night tonight, but if he is able to meet the minimum race, which I'm sure he will, he'll be in the playoffs already. Jamie Barkas looking to get a win, his first of the season, starting in that 6th position. In 7th, it's going to be Jacob Ellingson. with George Jewell on the outside. Another driver I'm looking to see if they can get a win. Jamie Mullins in that 9th spot with Tyler Justice rounding out the top 10.
Yep, and rolling off 11th is going to be Mike Browning in the Black Sheep machine. James Kaufman to his outside in the 12th spot. Charles Abert rolling off 13th with Warren Clayton, or Simrig recipient, in 14th. Brandon Wallace rolling off in P15. James Goshen in 16th. And your final starter for tonight is going to be Matt Knights in that 64 Toyota.
17 drivers here tonight. They're going to be making 100 laps around this racetrack, and it's going to be a heck of 100 laps. It'll be longer than you think it'll be. 45-mile-an-hour pit road speed, 4 tire sets available. I think that'll come into play for sure. 2 green-white checkered attempts, as always, 100% fuel, and that's about 60-something odd laps on fuel. So when they come down pit road, will be a part of the strategy. Well, Jake, who you got here tonight as they come rolling down the back straightaway?
Well, 6 consecutive poles is pretty convincing to me. He's already got 4 of the 7 races under wraps with a win. I'm going to go with Mark Whitley.
You know what? I'm going to pick Levi McCarty. I think he's going to pull out the win. He's always fast. He can make something out of nothing, and I think it's going to be tough for anybody to rip it out of Mark Whitley's hands. But I think Mr. Levi can probably get it done. Pace car going to pull off though. SAVE22 Truck Series Darlington, the lady in black. 100 laps here tonight. Who's going to get the win? Green flag is out, and they're racing. Well, coming out of turn 4, Mark Whitley leads the first lap as it's a fight back here for the top 5 as Patrick Dravitt goes to the outside of Craig Bontrager, and Bontrager tried to kind of put his nose back in there, and but look here, we got a battle for the lead. My pick, your pick, going at it here, Jake.
Yep, Levi McCarty getting a heck of a run down the Boeing backstretch into turns 3 and 4, rolls the bottom. Whitley opting for that higher line. New leader, Levi McCarty in the 24.
Clean air makes such a huge difference here. It's so hard to pass at this track once the tires start to wear. Now, Levi, he's known for being a driver that pushes the truck a little bit too early, and he will burn his stuff up. He has been known to do that, but it seems he's making no adjustments here tonight. Everybody knows it. He knows it. We've talked about it many times, but he is going out. He's going to lay down some laps as hard as he can. Now, Jake, you know as well as I do, that right front tire is going to start screaming at about 30 laps or so. So, I don't know. Do you feel like maybe getting out into the lead was probably a good decision, but really hammering down, pulling away by 0.4 of a second? Do you think that's such a good idea here with 100 laps in this race?
It's a good idea if you hit the same marks every time. I wouldn't want to push this early, but what you're banking on right now is the guy behind you running into some trouble or making a mistake while trying to run that same line. Keep in your wake and just try and get yourself around the track, because we got a little bit of a slow truck. Jamie Barkus to the inside in that MK Fire Designs machine. He has pulled himself all the way back to the 11th spot. I think he might have gotten one of the first Darlington stripes here tonight.
Yeah, it's either that or connection issues. I know he blinked out for a few minutes, and maybe he decided, I'm going to pull down while I blinked out. Don't want to wreck anybody. So that may have been what happened, but that MK Fire Designs, I must say, looking very, very clean here tonight. Up front, Levi McCarty now out to a half a second lead, and Jeremy Gardner now all over the back bumper of Mark Whitley. Now, we know Mark Whitley has raw speed, so we know he's doing a little bit of tire saving here. And if you've raced Darlington, you just have to know that right front, the most important. You can save it. That's what you want to do. And I love what you said. I mean, if Levi gets out front, and it doesn't really matter if you save your right front or not, it can be difficult to make the pass back once the tires start to wear. So, clean air is always going to be important. I think Whitley may not mind giving up the lead, but I don't know if he wants to give up these 5 spots from these guys that are lined up behind him. He's got all the way back to 6th place in a line he's holding up, and it looks like these guys are itching to get around him.
Yep. One person I know for a fact is wanting to get around him right now. You talk about Whitley having a lot of raw speed. Jeremy Gardner is the guy you think of whenever you come to Darlington. He has gotten a lot of laps at this track. It's his favorite track. It's arguably his best track, so you know he's going to beat Whitley's bumper off to get past him.
Yeah, you know, I've heard him talk a few times in some races this season where he felt like he needed to save a lot of tire and maybe saved a little bit too much. So I wonder if he's going to maybe make some adjustments here tonight. And, you know, I've seen him drive Darlington where he loses about, you know, runs half second off the pace and tries to make it up on the back end, but just not able to do it. So I wonder if he's going to try that tonight. You know, if I'm trying to win this race, I got to keep that 77 in my sights. You know, I don't want the 77 to save more than me. You know, so I don't know. Maybe they're just kind of content on riding behind each other right now. Looks like Craig Bontrager trying to make a move down, get to the apron. It's going to get him a little bit loose, and it's going to lose a ton of time as here comes Jake Ellingson. Looking down to the inside. We'll see if he can make that pass. You can see how difficult it is in 1 and 2. Both of these guys are going to try to gas it up. The 49 going to drive down on the door. The 27 make a little bit of contact with the wall. Hey, that's why we love Darlington right there, Jake.
Yes, sir. Darlington stripes aplenty. The 49 still up top into 3 and 4, keeping a little more of that momentum. The 27 rolling off on the bottom, and we're going to still be side by side once we get to the start-finish.
I love it as we got Mike Browning in the wall, makes a little bit of contact, keeps it going, though, as he's able to keep this thing underway. Not quite sure what happened, if he just got into the wall or what. Let's take a look at the replay real quick. He'd already made a little bit of contact with the wall as here comes Jamie Barkas down to the inside. That's the 4 of Mike Browning in that black car up top. And coming off a turn 2. Oh, he gets loose, makes a little contact with him, and then looks like James Goshen may have gotten into the back bumper, and that could have been disastrous. Holy cow.
Yep, that was a 36 of George Jewell. Might be looking at some nose damage there on the 36 machine, but Browning's going to be chased by the 117 of Warren Clayton as we're back up here with the leaders.
Yeah, going to have to settle in. You know, Darlington historically doesn't throw cautions. There's just so much space down there on the bottom that iRaces like caution detection. Most cars wreck down there, and it doesn't really work. You know, that the track that they're racing on is where the caution detection is. If you wreck down to the bottom, the iRacing won't throw it. So, you know, you can't really bank on cautions here, which is why I think you'll see a lot of this tire-saving kind of management that's going on right here is you may not get that caution you need to get caught back up like Mike Browning might need. Man, we can see Jacob Ellingson trying to go the long way around on the outside.
Yep, trying to carry that momentum out of 3 and 4 to get to the back of Craig Bontrager. Bontrager looks to have covered him off as they go into 1.
Yeah, not able to get it done. So trying to find a way around some of these drivers. Feels like he's a little bit faster, but there's just nowhere to go at the moment. You're kind of riding in a train. And, you know, Mark Whitley's sort of loving this. I mean, nobody's really been able to get around him. He's saving tires. They're starting to catch up with Levi McCarty. We'll take a look at the last lap time. You can see McCarty now in 30.4s where everybody behind him, 30.3s, 30.2. So just 15 laps into this run, you're starting to see the tire wear already come into effect.
Yep, and as you keep pushing as much as you can, I think that's the 25 of Kaufman hard into the wall on the exit of turn 2. I think he might be damaged.
Yeah, that one hurt. At least you got to go see the dentist after that one. That was a pretty big hit. It's all smoke, sparks, everything. But 16 laps into this race still. Levi McCarty out front, although these guys starting to kind of close in. You can see about equal lap times. I think McCarty may have heard me say that, picked up the pace. Let's go on board with McCarty, see what it looks like when you're leading Darlington, what it takes to get around this track. We'll take a look at his telemetry here. Really nice MS paint scheme that I got loaded in for him. But fourth gear all the way around, but you're going to see driving down almost to that apron. Lift just a little bit, right back on the gas. Letting that banking just carry you as you're right up against the wall. Lift a little bit, drive down to the bottom to get the best run you can off the corner. And then 3 and 4 is a little bit simpler. Drive in as hard as you can, but you got to check up more than you think. Roll the center, and then roll on that throttle. You see him kind of feather it just a little bit, and then run right off the corner. Pretty good lap there. That's why he's leading the race.
Yep, that line through 1 and 2 is almost a natural diamond like you'd see at like a short track, because you're taking it in low, going through the center of the corner, going up, and then you're just trying to round it down, make that exit onto the backstretch as straight as possible, and that's what's kept McCarty up ahead as long as he has been.
Taking a look at our cameras that we got here tonight, these guys always consistent about providing their webcam so we can see what it looks like when they're driving. You got Jacob Ellington, you got George Jewell, you got Charles Averitt, Patrick Gravitt, Mark Whitley, and James Goshen there down on the bottom. And you can see they're all locked in. They don't see a whole lot of head movement. Everybody's locked. I mean, Mark Whitley's giving his nose a scratch, shaking his left wrist a little bit as he's sort of got a gap here between him and Jeremy Garner. But appreciate these guys giving us those really, really good inside looks. And you can see James Goshen. He is locked. He looks like he's frozen in place.
Yep, it's one of the things with this track. You have to be locked in. If we're looking from the front of the pack all the way to the back, everybody's running that same line. And if you got somebody in front or behind you, you got to be mindful of that. Run your line. Make sure that you're not going to make contact with the guy in front of you. Hit your braking marks. Just keep in line and wait for the run to come.
Yeah, I love that. I love what you said. It's all about patience. These guys have to find that rhythm. You know, it's so easy in those things that you just said to make a small mistake, make a little bit of contact with the wall. We already saw it a couple times from some drivers. It just takes that one little lapse of judgment, and then you're into the wall and you're losing 2 or 3 spots. You can see that I think that's Warren Clayton. I don't know who that is, actually. Back there, somebody.
33 at Tyler Justice made some heavy contact on the exit of turn 2, and he has dropped all the way to the P10 position. He's lost about 4 spots from that one.
Lost everything that he's gained since the start of the race, and that's exactly what we were talking about. It's about that time ended, Jake. 22 laps into the race where you start to make mistakes. You're trying to push, you're trying to gain some on some guys in front of you, and you start to push a little bit harder, and that truck says no on this type of track. So a couple guys already having trouble. Warren Clayton has fallen back a little bit. Of course, we saw Averitt hit the wall, Mike Browning, James Goshen. All these guys, my goodness, that was Craig Bontrager who got really loose there, I think.
Yep, he got loose on the exit of turn 4. I think a lot of these guys are wanting to think it's go time here as he scrapes the wall on the entrance of turn 1. That might open up something for Jake unless he gets loose on the exit of turn 2 as well. I think we're at go time right now.
Yeah, and you know, go time is interesting because your tires are all greasy, they're all worn out now, and that surface is like a cheese grater. You can see the distinctive seams there, the little black lines on the track. That's not drawn on there. That's not paint. That's just from the asphalt just being separated there. So, you know, the truck drives different if you drive across there, and it's just like a cheese grater to these tires. It does not take long. We saw some 30-lap runs posted in Discord this week for some practice runs, and man, I tell you, I saw 62% on the right front after a 30-lap run, and we're getting close to that now. And you can already start to see it really fall off. Best laps so far was Levi McCarty at a 29.237. Last lap he ran a 30.697. So we have definitely fallen off quite a bit as still see some contact from guys all over the place. See smoke just kind of popping up everywhere.
Yep. A lot of wall contact is going to be the theme for tonight, but something that has fallen off along with the tires is McCarty's lead over Mark Whitley. We've dropped down to about 3.5 tenths of a second. I think the 77 might be trying to go for it. He makes contact with the wall in the middle of 1 and 2.
Yeah, rare mistake there out of Whitley. You saw him. Yeah, you can tell. You said it was pushing time. It looks like that's exactly what he's doing, giving a little bit extra, trying to make up this ground that he's lost. Levi obviously not pulling away, but they're running about the same lap times. So clean air versus dirty air maybe, but they're starting to match each other's times now. So Whitley saving as much as he did, I can't tell if maybe he kind of bailed on that strategy and wanted to keep that track position, or if or if Levi started to back off and save a little bit as well. It's really hard to say what these guys tried to do, but we'll see as they cross the line what the lap times are. Last time, Levi obviously a little bit faster with Whitley getting to the wall. This time, it looks like Whitley's going to be just a tad bit faster, about half a tenth that last lap.
Yep, what we're seeing with the good inside of the in-car there is we were seeing Whitley take just a little bit more of an inside line on the track. Watching where McCarty's going, he's going a little bit lower, keeping it a little bit lower because it's going to be faster around the track. He's hitting his marks where he needs to, and we're watching him inch ever so slowly back from that mistake.
Yeah, saving that right front allows for that mid-corner speed in 3 and 4. Now, in 1 and 2, you're really leaning on that right rear. You can see that wheel kind of left to right as he's really putting the pressure on the suspension and leaning the truck over on the right rear. But in 3 and 4, you can see a little bit more wheel, a lot less counter steer through the middle of the corner. That's where that right front makes a huge difference. You can tell that his tire's a little bit better than Levi, because he's able to roll that center at 3 and 4 just a little bit better. So that's where he's gaining on him. Is he going to have time to pass him? That's going to be the big question. I mean, Levi is not going to move over for anybody. And I tell you what, if you just move over and give somebody the lead at this point, you're just not going to win the race. You got to fight for this position. Levi went up there, got the lead. That's what you have to do. We got a battle between Bontrager and Patrick Drabick, and Patrick Drabick's another driver that's not going to just lay over and let you have it. He's going to really fight you for it here as they go side by side down the front straightaway, and he just lets him have it.
Pat rolling the top through 3 and 4, trying to get it back through 1 and 2 as Bontrager cooks it a little too much, catches the outside wall on entrance of 1, and I think Bontrager's got the momentum to keep himself in P4.
Yeah, that outside really rolled there. He got a little scary moment, but that was NASCAR 25. He'd been 5 seconds back by now, making that little bit of contact with the wall. But in iRacing, though, you kind of scrape the wall and keep going, and he's able to get that position. So Bontrager started 4th. He's now running 4th. Levi McCarty is the only one inside the top 5 that's really gained any spots. Everybody else pretty much where they rid it up here now that Bontrager's back around Patrick Drabick. So that lead really hasn't changed. Jeremy Garner still about half a second back from Whitley. Whitley about half a second back from Levi McCarty. And, something you talked about early in this race, Jake, is just kind of waiting on somebody to make a mistake. You've got to be perfect. If you're Levi McCarty, you've got to be perfect. You cannot make a mistake. You can't. One little small lapse in judgment, looking over to the left, picking your nose, something like that. You can't do it, Jake. Not in this race. You got to be focused on hitting that line perfectly every single time, especially the exit of 2. Exit of turn 2 gets tight down there, and if you're not careful, you can knock down the wall very easily. As you can see, Jeremy Garner slide the rears out. So he's got to be perfect. And Whitley, you just got to wait for that mistake to happen if it does. If not, you got to be thinking about pit strategy there, Jake.
Yep, and I think I mentioned at the top of the show, we got about 61 laps of fuel in the trucks, meaning you can run it all the way empty and you'll take it to lap 61, or you can stop in around lap 41, anywhere in between that window, and see if you can overcut somebody on the strategy.
Yeah, and here at Darlington, I can't say that the undercut is a great idea. I think if you can run long, and you can run to lap 60, that's going to always be your best bet, because the likelihood of cautions coming out and changing the game really low. And running long always seems to, really make a huge difference here because the tire differential will be so big. Somebody comes in at lap 40, you'll gain a ton of time, but over the last half of the race, coming down pit road on lap 55, you would have 15 lap fresher tires to the end, and you'd be able to run them down and pass them really without any issue. Right now, we're seeing 3 equally fast trucks, but it's going to be difficult to make the pass because their tires are so even. And so that's sort of the decision that you have to make. Do we come down pit road, get that track position off fresh tires early, and then try to hold them off, or do we run long and try to get those tires? And Jake, I never know what the right strategy is.
what I think in an ideal scenario for what we're watching right here, we have 3 different trucks right here. I want to see one come in lap 40, I want to see one come in lap 50, and I want to see one come in at the end of the fuel cycle, just so we can see how all 3 of those measure up against each other. McCarty hasn't really fallen off with his gap since the start of the race. Gardner has kept it honest with Whitley, just a little bit of about a half second in front of him, and Whitley's just been in between them, waiting for McCarty to make that mistake.
Yeah, interesting decision. I think, you know, if I know these folks, I think we'll see right around lap 50. I think that's probably the best bet for these guys. So I think we'll see a lot of folks do that. But, you know, if I'm McCarty, Whitley, man, it's such a tough call because you want to run long. If you're out front and you're out front by, you know, these 3 are out ahead of Bontrager by, you know, 2.5 seconds, you want to pit as late as possible. That way you get the best advantage on the tire. You can see that difference of how spread out the top 3 from the next 3 are. But for racing yourselves up here in the top 3, you have to be careful. You have to be careful when you come down pit road. So it's not an easy call, and it's not always the right call. So be interested to see what they actually choose. It looks like Charles Abert has come down pit road. Maybe one too many Darlington stripes there, Jake, and he's got some repairs, about 45 seconds so far. And one thing about this series that we talk about is that there's no fast repair in the Premier Series. They say, hey, if you're going to show up and race, you know, we're not going to give you a free car if you make a mistake or get into a wreck. You're going to have to set to deal with it. And I don't know, what are your thoughts on that? Do you like the no fast repair like it would be in real life, or do you like to have that fast repair sort of in the bank?
Well, considering I've had to use up every car I've had in the Wednesday series, I think a fast repair would be pretty nice. But it's supposed to be a showcase of skill, how you can take care of your car, how you take care of your tires, and put yourself in the scenario to be up here with the front runners as we see Whitley get sideways off of turn 4, Jeremy Gardner getting ready to capitalize.
Both of them were sideways. They were both wiggling as they felt the pressure. As I'm telling you, I am impressed. I'm feeling good about my pick there, Jake, who's starting to pull away now at the end of this run. And here comes Jeremy Garner down to the inside, trying to get this position on Whitley as McCarty looking back in his rearview mirror and just smiling from ear to ear. Just got that shit-eating grin on his face. As you can see, Whitley holding off Jeremy Garner for now. But Garner been putting pressure on that 77 machine for a while now. So we'll see if he can get around him. We're going to have to use pit strategy. But, man, impressive to see what Levi. Oh, both of them getting to the wall there.
Oh, both of them made contact exiting turn 2. That's where most of the contact has been made. McCarty's out to a second now. These two keep the battle going without missing a beat. And I think McCarty's, like you said, McCarty is very happy to see these two starting to pull or starting to get a little bit smaller in his rear view.
Yeah, and you know, if I'm Garner or Whitley, I'm kind of assessing the damage here, and if I feel like my toe is off a little bit, steering wheel's not really doing what it has been doing, I'm coming down pit road immediately. I do not want to have any damage here. So, looks like both these guys are still in pretty good shape, but yeah, if I get any kind of damage at all now that we're in the pit window, I'm coming down. That would be something that would change my mind about the pit strategy. So, but it looks like right now the car is still driving good. They got a little extra padding in there for this race, I guess, as they continue this battle for second place as we cross over into lap 45. And yeah, Levi McCarty pulls out to a 1.2 second lead. So that little burst of energy at the start of the race to get that lead looks like it might have been the right call there, Jake.
Yep. Looks like he has had the extra time to be mindful about the line he's running, take care of his tires. The two behind him still holding about 2.5 seconds over P4 or Craig Bontrager, bumper to bumper. McCarty's going to want to start trying to pull away a little bit more as we are, like you mentioned, fully into that window now at lap 45.
Yeah, and, you know, something that you're probably going to be, Levi's going to have to be thinking about soon, you know, before pit stops happen, is really catch up to any lap traffic. Currently, right now, Matt Knight's, you know, just about 6 seconds ahead of him. Right there, you can see that 64 machine sort of in the distance in some of these camera angles. So, you know, I think, you know, if I'm McCarty here, I'm close to my pit stop here at lap 50. If I get caught up to some lap traffic, if I start to run down Matt Knight's here quickly, I think I'll just bring it on down pit road. That way I don't have to deal with that, don't lose any time. And you kind of really force the hand of the guys behind you. You know, being the leader, you just have so much power on what kind of strategy you employ. That's the benefit of having a 1.3 second lead. You can kind of do whatever. But you got to make sure you don't make any mistakes. Jake, tell me, how do I get down on pit road on this track? Because I have no idea. It is a disaster.
Well, we're looking at the Boeing backstretch back here as we see them make contact once again. But you really want to start slowing down as soon as you get to the entrance of turn 3. Get yourself all the way to the inside. Watch him back it down. He makes it inside commitment cone and gets onto pit road.
He came in hot, too. He was sliding those tires. Those tires wore slap out. He came in there pretty quick. I don't see a black flag just yet, but, man, it was close. Leader coming down pit road on lap 48. Not going to let them guys get ahead of him. He's going to keep the aggressiveness going. Now, he doesn't want to see a caution, that's for sure, but he's going to come down and take those tires as the battle for second place heats up. When do they come down pit road?
I wouldn't be surprised if we see them pull down right now. You watch them push as much as they wanted to during the majority of the battle that they've had. They might want to take it 1 or 2 laps maybe, because I know McCarty has to put a little more effort into his tires. We're watching Whitley get slip again. Gardner maybe trying to look to the inside of Whitley, trying to see if he can get that nose position, like get ahead of Whitley so they can get into the pits first. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in like 2-3 laps.
Look at them door banging as they're racing each other on 50-lap-old tires. And Gardner finally able to get around that 77 machine, and now the decision of when to pit. We talked about the different strategies, how they all work, and now it's time to kind of deploy your strategy. And right now, Levi McCarty has got the more aggressive strategy. These guys are going to stay out on track a little bit longer. They're going to lose a ton of time, but they're going to try to catch it on the back end. But I just don't know how well that is going to work as Patrick Rabbit brings the 07 machine down on pit road and gets that thing back, try to get back on track, make some progress here. Levi McCarty comes out of pit road without a penalty, so right now he is dealing with what you hate to deal with on fresh tires, which is traffic that you got to run through, and you got to do it respectfully, because you're racing guys that are on your lap most importantly. Now, right now, he is the second car lap down, so if caution comes out, Levi McCarty is in big, big trouble, so he does have to kind of push. He wants to be the first car lap down. He does pass Matt Knights, who's now on pit road. So if a caution does come out, he will get the lucky dog. But he'd like to get up there and pass Jeremy Gardner and get it naturally. That way he doesn't have to worry about that.
Something of note, we saw George Jewell and Jamie Barkas on the pit lane a little bit ago, and McCarty has been able to overcut both of them with that stop. So he has firmly put himself in position as the first car lap down, waiting for everybody else to make their stops. As we got the leaders in right now. Mark Whitley's in the 77, taking his pit stop. Jeremy Gardner stays out on track.
Yeah, so you're kind of getting your wish, Jake. It's kind of cool to see that it worked out that way. About a 5-lap difference between Levi and Mark Whitley. Levi's in the good of his tires right now. He's really laying down some fast laps. It takes a couple laps for these tires to get up to temp, but once they do, they're rolling. And so Mark Whitley comes down pit road. He's going to have a little bit of a lap advantage as Jeremy Gardner has also now come down pit road along with Jacob Ellingson, who's been kind of riding there in the top 5 all night long. So pit strategy now starting to be realized. Levi's going to come out with a massive lead. But now the question is are they going to be able to run him down at the end? We're going to find out.
I think the gap might be a little too close. As we're watching Jamie Mullins inheriting the lead, he's getting that point for leading a lap. He's going to pull it down himself all the way down to pit road. That's going to give off the lead to Tyler Justice. And when Justice and Wallace make their stops, that will have put the whole cycle around. Levi McCarty will have inherited the lead once again.
Jacob Ellingson exiting pit road, and like you said, Tyler Justice now in the lead. as he is on old tires still. He's running 31.8s at the moment. You can see some contact there with Matt Knight, and I don't know exactly who that was. It might have been Warren Clayton. It was. Oh, man, Clayton. They tried to go back and get him. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he is taking shots at him in that Arrow McLaren. He's like, I don't appreciate that. We'll see on board with Clayton if he takes another shot at Knights. But did not appreciate how he's racing. Knights are going to get loose. He's going to make contact again.
Warren, the big loser and all that. Jamie Barkas able to get around all of them on the fresh tires, now trying to get his lap back off of Justice.
A little bit of beef, as Jake Reeves would say, through this cycle here, and you can see they're still going at it back here. My goodness, I'm trying to find the. Oh, we're 3 wide. That's not good. Warren Clayton going all the way down to the bottom. Oh, and Noah Tyler Justice goes around the leader, and caution. Caution comes out. We were watching all that happen, and Tyler Justice is going to go around. Honestly, that worked out great for Tyler Justice. That sounds bad, but that was great for him. He is going to gain a shit ton of spots from that right there. Let's go back and watch out what happened. 3 wide. That wasn't going to work. Warren Clayton down on the bottom. And Bontrager is going to get to the back of the 33. We'll see if we can get a better angle maybe. Maybe the cameraman will help us out a little bit better. Oh, man, cameraman just failing right now. And you can see Matt Knight's got loose, kind of shuffled everything up there 3 wide, and then Bontrager just got those fresh tires. Tyler Justice trying to get out of that situation, and around they go. And let's get you caught up on all the pit strategy. Like I said, I think this is going to work good, Jake, for Brandon Wallace and Tyler Justice, who are 1-2, as they're waiting on the pace truck to catch back up. They're going to go down pit road, and I would think a lot of these drivers, unless you just came down pit road, have got to come down and get fresh rubber, how much they wear out.
The only thing that I would say against Tyler Justice right now is all of that damage he's got on the rear end. Bontrager made contact with him. He made contact with the wall. I don't know how much he has to get fixed, but the Arrow is going to play a major factor in keeping him up front.
Yeah, and the way it works on iRacing, if you're not quite sure, you have optional repairs and required repairs. If you got bad enough damage that iRacing says you have to fix it, you have to wait that out. But if you do make contact, like what happened with Tyler Justice, you can have optional repairs. So it's his decision. Does he think the car or truck needs that repair? Is the toe, is the tape in the wheel right? All those things you kind of have to decide here. You get 4 tires of fuel, you hit the gas, and if you go, it'll let you go without the repairs. So we'll see what Tyler Justice does here. Now, Brandon Wallace, another one of those drivers, he is going to inherit the lead for sure, and he doesn't have any damage at all, and he has been running really good. He's our biggest mover of the race so far. With this little pass right here, he's going to be up 13 spots from where he started in that 15th position.
Yep, he's going to be up there, the biggest beneficiary from this caution for sure. And I really hope he can hold out for 40 laps, but not with the. I don't think it's going to be too clean trying to get past him, because you got McCarty, Drabick, Whitley, all of them on the rubber trying to get back up past him.
Yeah, and Jacob Ellingson stayed out on track. He pitted 5 laps ago. So Jacob Ellingson actually going to block some wave rounds from going around, I think. No, he's not. He's at the end. The wave rounds are in front of him. So Jacob Ellingson will have 5-lap older tires. Brandon Wallace, Levi McCarty, Patrick Drabick, and for some reason, Jacob Ellingson has a penalty.
Might have been for passing under yellow. I see James Goshen has one as well. Would be curious to see what took place for that one.
Yeah, and he goes to the back of the longest line, and so that for him and James Goshen, that sucks. That kind of ruins everything that was going on up here. So Jacob Ellingson stayed out with a little bit of strategy, and it's ended up not working out for him. So that's going to give Brandon Wallace, Levi McCarty the front row, with Patrick Drabick in 3rd and Mark Whitley in that 4th position. Jeremy Garner just wasn't able to make up enough spots there after he came in down pit road, and he's going to restart in that 7th position. So all fresh tires up here. Nobody is on older tires. No really differing strategies. Brandon Wallace just got lucky with that caution. Now he's going to inherit the lead. Now this is his best shot with 40 laps to go to do something with it. Can he hold off Levi McCarty? Does he have it in him? We're going to find it out as we go down into the restart zone, the Invets restart zone. Green flag is out, and I think he gave him a little bit too much here as the 77 thought about pushing McCarty, not able to do it, going to drive down, and Whitley all the way down to the bottom, going to make contact, and the 07 gets loose, saves it, and here comes Mark Whitley around in the inside, going to get a twofer. Brandon Wallace not able to hang on to it, and now it's a two-way battle as both of them get around. The 24 now all over the 77.
McCarty is not happy with Mark Whitley right now. We're going to see a repeat of the battle we saw at the beginning of this race if one of them doesn't go around here into turn 1.
Well, and I think Mark Whitley learned what he cannot do, which is give up this spot. Early part of the race, he kind of just let McCarty go. This time, we're not going to see him be so nice. 38 laps to go. McCarty really going to have to work for it. And I promise you one thing, McCarty, he's going to put it wherever he needs to make this pass. Whitley is not going to get, Martin style race here. This is a Dale Earnhardt type driver, and he's looking down to the inside. He's got the run. Can he make it work? This is going to be door banging as Whitley drives it deep into the corner, able to hang on to it.
Has to back out of it because Whitley was already up top. Couldn't get side by side as Wallace falls in line. George Jewell and Jamie Barkas tagged in close behind.
Yeah, Barkas, another beneficiary from that. We saw him blink out and fall to the back, and has just kind of been mired back there in the back half of the top 10 for a while, but now finds himself inside the top 5, and has got Brandon Wallace in front of him. So George Jewell also right behind him. George Jewell, one of the most improved drivers in the series, in any of Goat Locker series, in that 36 car. He's right behind the 15. So these guys getting some really nice benefit here as you go back to the 42 and the 07, as Drabick, after getting loose, has really fallen back here. I don't know if he made some contact or whatever, but they are about a second and a half back from that front group.
Yep, Gardner able to get himself around the 07. Maybe start to make up some of that time that he lost on the restart. Restarted 7th. He's pulled himself up, and he's got to start working on getting the lead pack back in his view.
Well, front, Levi McCarty back on the charge as he has to lift again as Whitley not giving it up like he did at the first part of the race. Lap 2 or 3, you get that little bit of extra room, but it ain't happening now as Whitley really putting the pressure on Levi to say either pass me or wreck me. You're going to have to, you're really going to have to pass me clean, figure it out, or we're going to make contact. We're both going to wreck. I mean, that's how you have to do it, Jake. I mean, you can't give the guy too much space because there's only enough for one guy coming on the exit of turn 2. So one of you's going to get in the wall, one of you's going to get loose, spin out, or you're both going to make contact, and you have to decide how bad do you want this win. And right now, Whitley, after that caution, was in trouble. Falling back to 3rd, was just kind of out of it. Now reinvigorated here as we close in on lap 67, coming to 68.
Yep, you don't want to, at the same time, you don't want to put yourself in a position where you can be easily overtaken. You don't want to give somebody else that choice because next thing you know, they're going to put their nose in on the inside, try and get around you. You're thinking they're going to back it out of there. They're not going to stop. They're going to door you into turns 1 and 2, push you as far as you are willing to go, bend you until you break, let off, or wreck him. That is how this is going to turn out toward the end.
Well, we talked a lot in the early part of this race about saving tires. The damn sure tell you they ain't saving tires now. The best lap of the race was run by the whole top 11 on lap 68, which would have been last lap, I do believe. No. It was the first part of this run. Excuse me. They were running their fastest laps of the race here, so no saving tires. Everybody's pushing. Levi ran a 2.9232, and Whitley ran a 2.9317. So that's the fastest laps we've seen all night. And Levi kind of feeling like he had the race under control, and after that restart, now in a weird position where he's in big trouble here. If he doesn't get up Whitley fast as these tires start to wear out, especially as hard as they're driving, it's only going to get harder for him to make that pass.
Yep, and you can see right here, he's doing everything he can to use Whitley's strategy against him. He's watching Whitley's line. He's taking it a little lower in the corners as we see him take it like up toward the middle now. Levi McCarty trying to close in on the back of him as we get into the straightaways, and it looks like it's starting to work a little bit as we might have a battle for third here.
Yeah, Barkas gets around Brandon Wallace, and so now George Jewell going to try to mount a little pass here on the 99. 99 just not have the speed to go up there and win this race, but I definitely think he's going to get a top 5 out of it, and I think that's really, really good for him. As, you know, in the point standings, Brandon Wallace sits, as he gets in the wall just a little bit. Don't want to do that. But he sits 16th in the points. The top 12 move on to the next round. So he's about 18 points back is Jewell able to get around him. And so a night like tonight where things just kind of go your way, you get a little bit of luck, finish in the top 5, top 6. That'd be a good night for Brandon Wallace, especially with how these points are going. So maybe he can hang on. But I'm still watching this lead battle. Can Levi McCarty do something with it? I think it's my pick versus your pick here, Jake.
Yes, it is. And like you said about Brandon Wallace, points is points. Like, it doesn't matter if you're finishing. You just got to finish ahead of the guys that are right in front of you. Get 1, 2, 3, as many as you can. And you don't have to push super hard for it. If you're going to get a top 5 like this, it doesn't matter how you get it. It matters what the points look like at the end of the race. We're watching Levi McCarty trying to get back to the bottom on Whitley. Because unlike Whitley, McCarty doesn't have a win this year. He's going for that solid lock-in to get him into the playoffs. Whitley doesn't have to worry about that because he's won 4 of them. So he's just going out there for posterity at this point.
Yeah, and you just want to win, you know, and man, that's just all you want. And with about 25 laps to go, McCarty's starting to show a little bit of what we saw out of Whitley. That dirty air is making a huge factor out of this lead battle. And you can see some lap traffic up there ahead of Whitley. He's going to have to deal with that. And those guys are not – they don't have to give the position up. They likely will, but they don't have to. And, you know, that's – when you're going to pass lap traffic, Jake, it's always – you always start to think and look and see who it is and go, uh-oh, I bumped that guy out of the way a couple weeks ago. I hope you don't remember that. Then you look up ahead of him and, I raced the dog food out of that guy. So I hope these guys have short memories, don't remember any of that, because now they're going to make it difficult on me. And this is the perfect track to make it difficult on somebody to try to lap it.
Yep. One of those drivers that's up ahead, James Goshen, I believe, is the one that is going to be in front of Whitley here shortly as he passes Craig Bontrager, who might have some damage from that previous incident. He knows when to give, and he also knows when to take. As you see him get around the 49 right there, that is not for position. I apologize. Bontrager going to be the last truck on the lead lap, so he is going to try and fight Whitley to stay ahead. As we're looking at the onboard of James Goshen right now as he's rounded through 3 and 4.
Yeah, it looks like Craig Bontrager has a little bit of damage on that rear end from that contact earlier, and that has affected the handling and the speed of that truck. So he is really struggling right now. He came down pit road and elected not to fix any of the damage. I'm sure he's probably regret not spending a little extra time here, but we're going to find out how much this is going to matter for Mark Whitley. Whitley's going to have the best spot going into the corner, and Levi, funny enough, is going to have the worst. He's going to have to take the worst line that you could possibly take through turn 2, and he's going to lose about a full tenth, now 0.2 of a second from that alone. So Whitley caught him at the right time. Levi caught him at the wrong time, and that's kind of what they're going to be dealing with here on out, is catching lap traffic at the right time. You want to catch them on entry on the straightaway. You don't want to catch them on any exit of turn 2. That is disaster. Middle to exit, not what you want to see.
Yeah, that's what we're going to see with the cars getting past Bontrager right now. I can't believe whoa! Lot of long contact for McCarty through 1 and 2, and that drops him to about a second behind Mark Whitley as everybody behind is scrambling to get around Craig Bontrager.
Yeah, McCarty looking for a caution now. I think he is not able to keep up with that 77 machine. The lap traffic, you see 3 cars up ahead of him. It's about the only chance Levi has at the moment, because Whitley is just laying down fastest laps on track right now, and he's doing it consistently. So we're going to find out. We got about 20 laps to go, and you can see the lap traffic up ahead. They're battling. So, it's not like they have to give up the spot.
Guess who it is? It's Warren Clayton and Matt Knights up ahead again. Goshen's caught these two. And I from what we were seeing earlier, I think it might be some little bit of revenge match between the 117 and the 64 through here.
Matt Knights in the wall right in front of the leader. And that's what we were talking about. Now, Matt Knights is going to pull back up on track on the exit of turn 2. But the Levi McCarty's still able to gain a little bit. Scary moment for the leader there as Matt Knights gets into the wall. That's what we were talking about right there.
Yep, drops the lead to a half a second as Whitley is starting to track down the other two. McCarty's trying to get back in the wake of the 77 as we've got a little under 20 to go here at Darlington.
Well, while we're watching this battle, I'll tell you what, it is, it's been an incredible fall season all the way around. And, if we're not talking about the sponsor of the race here tonight, the series, but we're talking about the entire fall season sponsor, and that's Lincoln Tech. An incredible organization. Their mission is to provide superior education and training to our students for in-demand careers and a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They're one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses, and they're the fall sponsor of this series. You can see Warren Clayton get into the wall right in front of both the leaders. And again, Levi McCarty gains a little bit about what he lost back as it's now under 5/10 with almost 15 laps to go.
Yep, Lincoln Tech able to help us put our potential to work as they do with so many students. Watch that gap go back to about 0.5 of a second. There's one more truck just ahead. I keep mentioning him. James Goshen trying to keep himself ahead as we got some netcode contact with the wall off the 77. He is trying to get into the wake of that, trying to get as much as he can as McCarty's not dropping back anymore. He's kept it within that 0.5 of a second.
Yeah, I mean, Levi's in the same position Whitley was earlier in the race. Levi can't really close the gap up just by pure speed, but he's just waiting for a mistake to happen. Lap car to make a mistake, whatever it is. No, never mind. There's a mistake from Levi McCarty. Although it didn't actually hurt him that bad. He made a good amount of contact going into the corner, but it didn't seem to bother him at all. He stays at his same gap. So, yeah, Levi's just waiting for some sort of mistake to happen. You can see him sort of close in there on the entry of 3, maybe hoping to see try to take advantage of anything that happens here with Goshen. But look who is in the distance, Jake. If something were to happen, Jeremy Garner has gotten around 6th, 5th, 4th, and now has put himself back in that 3rd position. He is the fastest truck on the track at the moment. He is 1.1 seconds back, under 15 laps to go as this lead battle is starting to heat up. It may be not just a 2-horse race, but a 3-horse race.
That's the same ones we were talking about from earlier. Mark Whitley holding 0.3 over McCarty now. McCarty pushing harder than he was before. Gardner trying to get that gap back down to 1 second. We see a little bit of wall contact from Whitley. McCarty starting to close again. And Goshen making some wall contact through there as well. This is going to be a tight one down to the finish.
Whitley making a little mistake there, and that's going to bring the 24 right to him in 3 and 4, right into that little bubble. And now the 77 now in defensive mode. He can't just drive full out. He's got to be watching in his rearview mirror, watching for moves that the 24 can make. And McCarty is there. And, boy, he got a great 1 and 2. He might have a run here. Not quite just yet. But, Whitley is in that dirty air of the 085. And that's something that we really haven't talked about yet, is that the dirty air, the clean air that the 77 was enjoying now is gone as he's got that wake of the 85. And the 24 making use of it. And here comes Jeremy Garner, another 0.2 faster that last lap.
If I'm Mark Whitley, I'm thinking I need to get past this 085. I need to get back into clean air. If I'm McCarty, I'm thinking about that contact that we made on the restart. You are not going to get away from me right now. You are going to let me back by, and I'm going to win this race.
Yeah, the question I have right now is what's Goshen going to do And the 24 is going to get a little bit of the wall. Doesn't hurt him, though. Praise God, baby, come on. And Goshen going to get right out of the way, right at the right time, I think. And solid, top dog move there for James Goshen as he's going to let him go. And now we've got a battle for the lead. These guys have been pushing hard. Garner has been 0.2 of a second faster every single lap. They have been pushing hard. Garner's been able to save a little bit. This is going to come right down to the wire. And if you're McCarty, you were feeling good for a while. Now, all of a sudden, there's a sense of urgency for him. He's got to get up there and get this pass done because that 42 is coming.
It is crunch time. 77 over the 24 and the 42 all under a blanket as we just hit 10 to go.
Yeah, looking at the lap times, Garner still a little bit faster, not 0.2 like he was before. We'll see as they cross the line. You'll be able to see it update in real time and see what those lap times are. But these guys are laying down some laps. And here comes McCarty. He's going to turn him.
That's what had to happen. Gardner gets around the 77, 24 back to the lead after the move that needed to be made. Whitley goes around, collects it back into third, 9 to go here at Darlington.
I think you're right. I think he had to do that. He had to move him out of the way quickly because here comes the 42, and I don't think it's still enough time as McCarty's struggling, and Gardner now has a huge run, and now it's the 24, the 42, inverse numbers, battling it out. Premier Racing setups against, what is that? What is the sponsor for? I don't know what that is. Anyway, we got a battle for the lead as Gardner now going to spoil McCarty's party. It's like a Disney movie, McCarty's party. McCarty is not going to give it, though, Jake. It's going to be the hardest pass you ever have to make if you're that 42, and it might try to make it right now. Blocking down the back straightaway. Gardner now going to look to the outside as McCarty going to drive it deep into the corner, try to slide up in front of that 42. Gardner on attack.
Gardner makes contact with the back of the 24, unsettles the car, puts him into the front stretch wall. Everybody at Fairfield Auto Group screaming about as loud as we are in the booth, watching that 24 make the moves. 42 going to try and regroup and get back to him, but he's running out of time.
That was a big hit. That was a pretty massive hit to that right front. We've been talking about that right front tire in 3 and 4 specifically all night long, and that was a big contact. And we saw Gardner was trying to get the run off of turn 4, just got a little bit loose, chased it up the track, and made contact with the wall. And now he's going to try to regroup here. He was a little bit faster than McCarty last time by, and now can start to put a little bit more pressure. They got the same tires, but Gardner just hasn't had to battle as much as McCarty has. So I think that's going to be the difference in this race. And watch those lap times. Gardner just a little bit faster, but he was gained a ton of time here on this lap. I think he's going to be at least 2/10 faster as they cross the line.
McCarty made some wall contact on the exit of 2 last time by. 5 to go at the line. Jeremy Gardner in hot pursuit. 31 flat on his last lap as he's trying to chase down that 24 one more time.
Yeah, through 1 and 2, both of them really clean. You can see a little bit yawing out more for the 24, but that's what you have to do to get the run off the corner, and especially with these older tires. I mean, these guys are on 37 lap old tires as McCarty still sideways on the exit. He is laying that throttle down. He's getting every single bit out of this truck that he can. As now here comes Gardner back to the back bumper.
McCarty trying to scrape paint off to get some speed over the 42. 42 right back to his back bumper. We might see a repeat of when the 42 made contact before, all the way up to the back. He lets off into turn 3, tries to roll the corner. He's going to make another run on the front stretch.
Man, you're running out of time if you're the 42. Now he's going to get a run, a block down the front straightaway from McCarty, but he's going to give the outside to Gardner. That's dangerous. Gardner going to drive down on the door. They put him in the wall. Days of Thunder style, put him in the wall, squished him up against there, and McCarty keeps going. And now Gardner going to have to mount the charge back. Now, what he's done, though, is he set the tone for how this race is going to go, Jake. Once you do something like that, you're saying all bets are off.
Oh, the tone was set when he turned Whitley. Gardner making some heavy contact on the exit of turn 3, crossing the line for 2 to go. As soon as that move the 24 made on Whitley happened, everybody knew all bets are off. You need to do whatever you can to make this win happen. McCarty has done that, and he is currently sitting in the catbird seat for it.
Oh, and Gardner falling apart here off of turn 2, makes hard contact with the wall. It was a pretty good pancake, just flat, so maybe it didn't cause any damage. But, I mean, that contact with the wall he made earlier, the truck not driving well, and you can see he is struggling through 3 and 4, not rotating. White flag is out for Levi McCarty. I think this is a case of wanting it more than anybody else, and he wanted it bad. He may or not have made any friends, but, hey, Joey Logano says, I'm not trying to be friends with these guys out here. I'm trying to beat them. And down the back straightaway, Levi McCarty making me look good down to the 3 and 4. He's only going to make 2 more corners. He's got a 0.6 of a second lead over Jeremy Gardner. Coming out of turn 4, that 24 machine is going to the playoffs. Levi McCarty takes the win here at Darlington.
What a finish. I think that was a classic right there. I'm going to be looking back at that one. Yep, you see some good contact from the 42 showing his displeasure. I'm sure we're going to see some from the 77 as well. He did what he had to do. Told both of those guys that were running with him all day, you are not beating me. I will not let that happen, and tonight he made that come true.
Levi McCarty's still running fast laps, trying to get away from these guys who are not happy with him. And you can see Mark Whitley also not happy with the way he was raced. But, man, what a battle. That was so much fun for us. You know, that's the best thing about being in the booth, Jake, is that you can be impartial. You can just watch and enjoy. And, hey, nobody's mad at us about it. But, you're going to have all kinds of opinions about the way this race planned out. But these races are hard to win, Jake. And if you get an opportunity to win, you
take it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Levi didn't wreck anybody. You know, that's the important part. There's no actionable thing as he's doing some kind of weird burnout there. But there's no actionable thing, really, because nobody wrecked. Whitley hung on to it. Gardner just kind of got squeezed in the wall. That's hard racing. So, it's just hard to say that it was right or wrong. I don't know, but it was exciting as hell for us, and I can't wait to talk to them. We're going to get to talk to all 3 of them here tonight, Jacob. That's going to be the best part. So we're going to take a short commercial break. We're going to catch our breath, let y'all kind of get up, go to the bathroom, come back. You're going to want to hear these interviews, I would imagine. So come on back, and right after this commercial break from our wonderful, wonderful partners.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Good golly, Miss Molly. What a race. What a track. That's why we love Darlington, y'all. Just incredible racing from this field tonight. And Premier Series put on a show. And we're going to talk to all the winners, or the top three here, in just a moment. But let's take a look at our results and see where everybody came out with. Levi McCarty takes his first win of the season. And Jeremy Garner going to come home in second. Mark Whitley in third. George Jewell with a great finish in fourth. Jamie Barkus, great recovery after that connection issue early, finishes in the top five. Brandon Wallace, a great finish. He needed this type of race tonight. Get himself a little bit closer to that 12th position in the points. Maybe a good drop week will fall off after this. Up from 15th to 6th. Great run from Brandon Wallace. Jamie Mullen's going to come home in 7th. Patch Dravick, a little weird tonight. Normally used to seeing him up front, working his way to the front, but maybe tonight, after being off for a week, just kind of getting out of the rhythm, need to get back on track, get some laps in. Comes home in 8th. Jim Kaufman with a great run in 9th. Warren Clayton actually comes out with a top 10 after it's all said and done.
Yes, sir. And at the back half of the field, we got Craig Bontrager after that late contact, finishing a lap down in 11th. James Goshen played a pivotal role in that end battle, finishing P12, 2 laps down. Matt Knights in the 64th, 13th. Tyler Justice after that contact, 3 laps down in 14th. Charles Abert in 15th. Jake Ellingson after the penalty, shaking out in 16th. And Mike Browning rounding out the field in P17.
Oh, man. Well, I'm ready. I'm prepared, and I want to hear from these guys what they thought about the race. And, of course, we got to start with our winner. And I will brag a little bit. My pick tonight, I picked you, Levi McCarty, come away with the win. First off, congratulations, man. I got 1,000 questions, but I can only ask a couple. Unbelievable job tonight. Great win, great race out of the top 3. What were your thoughts going into the race? Did you feel like you had a chance? Did you feel like you had a chance to maybe get this win away from Whitley and Garner?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I run well at this track. I felt like I had him tonight if we didn't get that caution there. So it just refusing to lose tonight. The 77's been beating us all up. I wasn't just going to sit there and take it again tonight, especially after I had him on the green flag cycle there. I think if it would have played out, I would have been able to beat them both. So yeah, just getting fed up with it, going up and doing something about the 77, kind of dominating these races. Yeah, just love this track. Really good setup tonight, and we were fast.
Yeah. Well, and, the first part of the race, it's well documented that you're the type of guy that you're going from the drop of the green flag, you're going pretty hard. You're not a half a second off pace racer at the start of these races. So you got out front, and I thought I did pick you to win, but I thought maybe have you changed your style or anything, because we're used to you getting out there, your tires kind of burning up a little bit, and you coming back to them. But in that first run, that green flag run, didn't happen. So what adjustments did you make? You really fought hard to get out there. Whitley didn't battle you too much. But once you got out front, were there any adjustments you made to try to save tire, or were you pretty committed to running hard? What was sort of your strategy in that first green flag run?
Definitely came into it tonight. Was going to run as hard as I could, short pit, and live with the consequences, since it's tough to beat these guys on the long run. And I got out there, just started wrapping the bottom, and 3 and 4 it was a little bit slower, but it was saving tires a little bit better than kind of running the middle and then arcing down. So I was kind of walking away from him there when I pitted, just every lap getting a couple tenths at a time, and I just wanted to be in front of them. I felt like I could hold them off all night, and we got that caution, and then all hell broke loose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, talk a little bit about that contact with Whitley. You drove into the corner and made the contact. He was able to hang on to it. You were able to drive by it. What was the intention there? Did you go in there with the intent to try to give him a bump, or were you just driving in there deep? What was sort of the idea as you drove down in there?
Yeah, just driving it in deep, trying to get to his inside there, and just it kind of drag race into to 1 and 2, kind of washed up the track a little bit. I definitely didn't mean to get into him there. But yeah, just having to race as hard as you can against these guys. I feel like he got by me there on the restart on the inside and put me in a questionable spot too. So just it's just how it is when these guys are this good. You gotta take every inch and try to capitalize when you have it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It was so much fun to watch. You guys battling, you and Gardner making contact there, just going for it. Somebody's got to come out on top. Somebody's got to be the loser in the deal. And you came out on top tonight. Truck looks pretty clean after all that, either way. And you're able to get the dub at Darlington, which has got to feel good to begin with. And now you're locked into the playoffs. You don't have to worry about anything going forward. You're already kind of pretty good as points go, but now you're locked in. So congratulations on the win. Congratulations on being locked into the playoffs. And man, the floor is yours. Who do you got to thank?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Just a fun race, crazy. I know those guys are probably going to be upset, but that's it's the risk you run, and I was committed to racing as hard as I possibly could tonight, so I'll live with the consequences for sure. Lincoln Tech, appreciate them as always. SAVE22, yeah, just really great series we have going on here. The Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs. Thanks to them for all they do for GLR. Fairfield Autosport or Motorsports and Auto Group. I appreciate them. And yeah, VSPEED, awesome broadcast. This one I'm gonna go watch right now. I had a ton of fun. Hey, thanks for picking me at the beginning. I couldn't let you down, man.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate it. I don't get to get up in the booth as much anymore. So I'm excited. The first pick that I make in a while, instead of it being a broadcaster curse, it was it was a win. So yeah, appreciate that. Congratulations on the win. It's so much fun to watch. And man, we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Well, all right, that was your winner, Levi McCarty. And now we're going to bring up second place. Jake, you're called up with Jeremy Gardner.
Jeremy Gardner, this is Jake Linky in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
We saw you putting the fight on with those two all night. We know you're good here. Did you think that it was going to take as much as it did to get back up there on that second run?
Not really. I was sitting there watching the times, and it looks like they were kind of pushing. So me being me, I'm just going to run my little long run pace and just try to sit back and watch everything unfold. But hell of a comeback, that's for sure.
Yes, sir. You were challenging for that win when Whitley got turned by McCarty there. Did you think that it was going to be the best time to make that capitalizing move on McCarty? And were you expecting to get pancaked into the wall like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I knew once they got close enough together, I knew something was going to happen. Levi races hard. I mean, it happens, but I wasn't expecting to get pancaked in the wall. But no, got to race people how they race you, I guess. So, oh well.
Yep. Pushing for that win, got it by any means necessary, and you come out just short. Who do you have to thank for putting you on the podium after a solid run?
Jam Printing and Promotions, SAVE22 for putting on the series. Appreciate them guys. Of course, y'all guys up in the broadcast booth. Alexander PCs, my guy at Premier Racing Setups, Pat and Jamie at JLR.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time. Awesome run tonight. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate it.
All right, Eddie. Well, you've got the luxury of bringing in one of the other gentlemen. My pick, Mark Whitley.
Yeah, Jake picked Mark Whitley, and I think that was a pretty good safe pick. 4 wins of the season tonight, come in as the favorite, got his 5th pole in a row. And, well, Mark, I got to ask you, before all the rest of the stuff happened, letting McCarty go on that initial start, just kind of taking it easy there, are you looking back going, maybe I shouldn't have done that? Were you happy to do that? What was your thoughts as when he drove up there and just passed you?
Yeah, that was kind of it was pre-planned. I didn't want to run it too hard. I figured, the way it looked like he was running pretty hard, getting a little sideways. I really thought, lap 20, 25, I started picking it back up, and it was kind of weird. It was like, I guess I don't know if I was too close behind him. The dirty air made me use the tires up more than I thought or what. But then I started pushing, and I couldn't really get to him. And then all of a sudden, it started falling off. So he pitted kind of early. I decided to, run it long. Weren't really sure how that was going to play out because I knew I was on the fresher tires, but then we had the caution come out and it kind of threw a monkey in that wrench. And I got a really good restart, and I don't know if he just missed a shit. I don't know. He just didn't get a good start, and I cleared the guy underneath me and dove it up in there. And I think he about tried to drive it on my door for some reason. And then I got to the lead, and then I could tell he really wanted it back. I just didn't really, I guess, realize how much he wanted it back. I finally got away from him a little bit, and then I caught some more lap traffic, and it just kind of sat in front of me for a few laps, and I feel like it kind of used my tires up a little bit. And then he came back to me, and then from haven't looked at the replay, but it felt like he came in from about 10 car lengths back and just cleaned us out. So, I mean, stuff happens, I guess. But and then the rest of the race, right rear was mad, and I was just trying to stay as close to them guys as possible because I figured if they got racing, they might wind up wrecking each other, and it looked like they were going to in one time. But just couldn't really do anything after that, and just happy to have a P3 after all that.
Yeah, I mean, all that happened. I mean, it was an incredible save. Darlington, while it will put you down, sometimes it'll reach out and just give you a big old hug, and that's kind of what it felt like it did to you as you were kind of going around there. We thought you lost it, but hang on. What's the word? You hung on to it. Man, just a great drive. I know you're on the short end of the stick. It doesn't feel good when you're that guy, but you were part of probably a legendary battle there between three amazing drivers. They put on a fantastic show. And if you're a fan of this series, or a fan of Mark Whitley, or a fan of this type of race, and this is the race you want to see. So you're a part of one of those Ricky Craven, Kurt Busch type races tonight. So while you didn't get the win, you had a great race. You had a fast truck as always. So congratulations on a third place finish. Hell of a race, hell of a battle. And I'm sure you'll come back with a vengeance next week. But you got 4 wins of the season. You're locked into the playoffs. Congratulations on third place, Mark. And as always, who do you have to thank?
Yeah, all the sponsors here, the league, iRacing, MK Fire Design, Sim Motion. Brantley, my spotter up there, helped me. He does all my paint jobs. Check him out at harpoondesign.com. Our other sponsor, Jawa.gg. If you're looking for an upgrade or a brand new system, check them out. They're the best marketplace out there. Just happy to be a part of this league, and happy to have a better understanding of how people race now.
All right, well, there you have it. Mark Whitley, your third place finisher tonight. As, we wrap this thing up, put a little bow on it. The sun's coming back up. Jake, we've been here so long that the sun is coming back up at Darlington Raceway. But, man, I don't know. I don't know what to say after the race. That was just incredible.
I want to do it all over again. If we have a chance at seeing something as good as we just saw, I think I want to sit here and do this all over again. But we can't. We do have a Dash for Cash race next week at North Wilkesboro on Halloween of all days.
Well, can't wait for that. North Wilkesboro put on a great show, especially in the truck. So you'll want to be here. Your normal crew, the good crew, as they might say, will be back next week, I think. So you'll have your normal voices in the booth, cursing everybody. And put broadcast curse on everybody. But, man, just an incredible race tonight. Great job to the field. Great job to SAVE22 for picking this series to sponsor. Cannot appreciate them enough. Lincoln Tech, Invest, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, Glove Station, Jam Printing Promotions, MK Fire Designs, all of the partners that make this place go around. Pat and Jamie, of course, the head of Goat Locker, all the people in the C-suite of Goat Locker Racing, all the admins, race control, just thank y'all so much. Y'all do an incredible job. Jake, thank you for being in the booth. You're a killer announcer, and we're glad to have you a part of the broadcast team. I'm Eddie Smith, Jacob Blinky, bringing you all the actions here tonight with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Next week, you better be here. It's going to be an amazing show. This series puts on a great race every single week, so if you haven't been watching, you better go back and watch, get caught up, be here next week. It's going to be a good one. We'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a great day. Have a great weekend. See y'all later.